we're going to have 3-minute closing remarks in reverse order, starting with Will Carton.
Thank you, Malcolm, and thank you again for having us here today. I think this is the most important process that we have as a democracy and as a republic, is allowing candidates to come up and speak and have transparency. And I very much appreciate you for allowing us to take up your valuable time to come and do that. In this race, we have closed, in my campaign, a 60-point gap in the beginning. I was an unknown. I've been raising a family and building a business for the last 20 years. And we are now in a race. I want to be the first to congratulate Jeff Flake and do it in person for his, he just had this morning, Senator Kyle and Senator McCain endorse him. I think that's outstanding. I respect the service of those two senators. However, I'm not in this election to please the establishment or to look for the endorsement of long-time people who have been in Washington, D.C. I'm in this election to replace them. I'm in this election to move in a new direction, because the old direction, the old guard, has not worked. I really appreciate the support of so many of you in this audience who are friends, who have helped make that happen. This has been the farthest, by far, comeback in an election, furthest underdog who's come up, and I really appreciate the help. I think it's not because of me, it's because of the message. I've asked Congressman Flake and his staff to do a one-on-one debate. They had a television station ask them. They did. We accepted. The television station actually asked both of us. We accepted. They declined. I would, again, like to see the transparency of government that we all preach as a Republican Party. I'd like to see it enacted. And I'm happy to do 5 debates with all 4 of us and 5 debates one-on-one with Congressman Flake. I think we deserve the courtesy. The citizens of Arizona deserve that. They deserve to see what people represent and then make an educated choice. And in this election, I intend to give it a choice. A businessman who has balanced budgets, made payrolls, an outsider who hasn't accepted a single dollar from Washington, D.C., and a consistent, reliable conservative, versus someone who has never had a job in the private sector, has taken millions of dollars from Washington special interests, and has changed positions on many things. That's what we're talking about here. It's a pretty simple election. I want to end by a quote here. This quote was given July 3rd of 2000. The Founding Fathers envisioned citizens leaving their private sector jobs for a short period of time to serve their country, then returning to the private sector. The notion that individuals would become career politicians must have been truly foreign to them. I agree with that statement. That was Congressman Flake in the year 2000. That's exactly what we need. We need citizen representatives now. We need people to get back to the basics of our Founding Fathers, who understand you go to Washington, D.C., you work really hard, and then you come home and live under the laws you passed, because you think a lot differently when you understand you have to live under what you do.
I guess records do matter since we've started talking about them, so I'm going to talk about one myself. I keep hearing the word consistent conservative thrown around all over this state. I'm a consistent, reliable conservative. I've never voted for what I call, don't misunderstand, is rhinos or progressive Republicans. I've never given a dime to Mr. Flake, Mr. McCain, or Mr. Kyle. Somebody up here has. When you give people money, you support them in their theories, in the way they run their jobs, in the way they do office. That's where I'm at with this. I'm pretty simple about things. I ran businesses and did it very well. I also know that you are accountable for what you do. Some people call this, and I've heard that exercise used to, slinging mud. When you tell the truth, there's nothing muddy about it. Now, if somebody happened to take water and dirt and put it together themselves, then it is mud. That's not my fault. Another thing, there's nothing wrong with wanting to succeed in this country and earn money. It's the love of money, biblically, that's the root of evil, not money in and of itself. I want to see our country strong again. But I don't believe that can be done by people, and quite honestly, don't misunderstand this, anybody. I have no respect for Mr. McCain or Mr. Kyle. I look at their records. I wouldn't want them to endorse me if I was running for dog catcher. That's just how it is with me. I don't regard them, and I've never given them money, and I've never voted for them. In fact, I supported people who ran against Mr. McCain in 10, as I did Mr. Flake in 10. I supported someone that ran against him. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough money, which is what seems to make everything work in this party. which is really a disappointment to me as someone who's been at this since I was 9. I'm asking you to start thinking about our whole future, all of it.
Keep going,
So
sorry.
please, huh?
Keep going, you've got another minute, sorry.
It's our future we're talking about, and the world's. You better start understanding, all of us. I had to. When people came to me and asked me to do this, I thought they were crazy. And then I thought a little bit more about it and looked at the field and thought, no, you're not. When I started looking at the records, both the professional record of a politician and the record of the people that finance that person and others, that's what made me decide to do it. I haven't had a lot of hard help from the party, and I understand that. I'm not one of the elite insiders of the party. I'm simply somebody who's actually helped work at ground level as a PC and state committeeman and someone with a political talk show who promoted constitutional ideas and still do at great cost. And for anybody to tell me that I don't deserve to be in a four-way debate because someone thinks they're better than the rest of us, after I know myself have gotten over 8,000 signatures, and me and my wife traveled and did over 90% of ourselves by going to this whole state, I resent that as a matter of freedom of speech and access. And so, no, I don't believe in people that set that up and then call themselves outsiders. God bless you. Thank you. We have information to go with. Mr. Hackbar.
Thank you. Let's address this public debate issue. As I just mentioned to Jeff, and Van heard me this morning, as of yesterday, I sent out 3 certified letters to the other 3 campaigns for a public debate. Jeff supported not to have the debate because Will only wanted a head-to-head. As Van stated, folks, I was also went across the state. We gathered over 10,000 signatures. I want a public debate by all 4 of them, and I want Channel 12 to host it. I would like Prescott to have a host of it. It's time to really have heart-to-heart discussion here instead of the rhetoric that we keep hearing. I am tired of being a third or fourth class citizen. I'm an American citizen who qualified for this ballot by the rule of law. So did Van, so did Will, and so did Jeff. No matter how any of you may feel about the party, I wouldn't want an endorsement from Senator McCain or Senator Kyle either. I want to earn your endorsement. It's very simple. I don't work for them, I don't work for the GOP, and I don't work for the Democratic Party. I work for the American citizen. I work for the Arizonians who will hire me to the United States Senate. You need a serious candidate for serious issues. We have those serious issues, and I stand before you as a serious candidate. This is not a game. Congress has been playing a game, and I'm tired of the game because it's affecting my livelihood, and it's affecting my 3 children that are in that back of the room right there who may not have a chance to have a good education. I'm tired of giving this country away, and I'm tired of using it as a doormat. August 28th, I ask for your support and your vote for Brian Hackworth for United States Senate. Thank you.
Thank you. In regard to public debates, all 4 of us here are on the ballot. We'll be on the ballot. It was a tough thing to go around the state and get, we had to get 7,000 or 8,000 ballot signatures. I think all of us here got over 10,000 to get on the ballot. Why in the world would you suggest to have a debate that excludes 2 of us? That's simply unfair. If you get on the ballot, you should be able to compete. Now, somebody may not like somebody who's up here or may not want to debate them, but we're all on the ballot, and that's how it should be. So we ought to have more forums like this, more debates, as many as we can fit in before election time comes. But I won't participate in any that don't include all 4 of us. We're all on the ballot. That's how it should be. It's been well defined the biggest problem facing this country. It's our overwhelming debt and our deficit. Unless we get control of that, not much else matters. You have to send somebody to the Senate who is willing to stand up, regardless of who's in charge, in the House, or the Republicans or the Democrats, who will say no or yes, depending on the circumstances, depending on what you're offering, a balanced budget or more spending. You've got to have people who will do that. I believe that my record demonstrates in the House, that my record from the House demonstrates that I'll do just that. The National Taxpayers Union takes every vote that every member of Congress takes that has a tax or spending implication. And they rank members of Congress not an A grade or a B grade or a C grade, 1 through 535. The biggest cheapskate at the top, and the biggest spendthrift at the bottom. And guess what? The first 2 years I was in Congress, Ron Paul beat me. I won. I was number 2. Then for 8 straight years, I was number 1 in the entire Congress in terms of voting against taxes or tax increases or spending. And that's what you need in the Senate. You have to have somebody who's willing to stand up and say no, even if it's his president. For example, with the prescription drug benefit in 2003, we got a lot of pressure from our own president on that. We have farm bills that are passing, another one that'll come up this week. This is one that Republicans pressure people on and Democrats as well. President, and we should vote against because it adds to the deficit. We've had things like No Child Left Behind, supported by Republicans, proposed by Republicans, that simply increased federal intrusion into local matters like education. And that, our own president said vote for it, I voted against it. You've got to find people who will stand up and vote right regardless of the consequences. Because of my battle against earmarks, I was removed from one of my committee assignments as punishment for bad behavior, for actually voting or calling my party to task when my party wasn't acting frugally. We've got to have somebody who will do that. You need somebody in the Senate like that. I ask for your vote. Thank you.